You know, the last couple of weeks, the big Delta studs, the 5s, 6, 7s, 8-pound fish, they haven't been in the mix a whole lot for a lot of people. They've been tough to catch. They've been, we'll say they've been absent. But the bottom line is there are better numbers of fish being caught right now, and those numbers are increasing. And there's a lot of the fish in that 3 to 4 pound class. These are the teenagers. These are the fish that are young, they're fast, they're aggressive, they're acrobatic, they tug hard, and they are just a blast to catch. And I'll go on record saying I believe the most fun fish that you can catch out here on the California Delta are those fish between the 3 and 4 pound class, the teenagers. So with that, I think the moral of this week's report is going to be, go out there, try to get one of these Delta studs. Try to get yourself a 6, 7, 8 pound fish. But if it doesn't happen, don't worry about it. There's plenty of fish out there in that, I'll say 2.5 to 4 pound class that are going to provide you with a lot of fun, and maybe the most fun that you can have here on the Delta. Good numbers, lots of fun. So with that, let's take a look at the report. We'll see what's been going on in the last Memorial Day weekend. We'll see what we have to look forward to this coming week. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly fishing report for May 28th. And I want to start off by announcing the winner of last week's giveaway. And remember, last week I announced that I had just hit 15,000 subscribers, and we're going to go through a month or so of giveaways. And every week, if you're watching the In Deep on the Delta weekly fishing report, we will announce the winners. And it's basically a very simple to get into this drawing. All you have to do is comment. You leave a comment. I'll try to hit you up with a thumbs up, or I'll try to, if you have a question, and maybe you've watched one of the videos, you have a question, I will still answer that question. I'm looking at all the comments, but there's just too many of them coming in for me to answer every one of them. But I will do my best to give you a thumbs up or say thanks for watching. If I don't give you that thumbs up, that just means I missed your comment, but it is in the SKU to pull out for the drawing at the end of the week. So the winner of this week's drawing, and it is a trip for two, a guided fishing trip for two here on the California Delta with In Deep on the Delta. The winner is Give 'em Fitz, Givemfitz. If that's you, hit me up at my email, scooper, SCOOPER 9561032 @gmail.com, and send me your contact information. I'll give you a call, and we'll put a date on the calendar. We'll get out and fish the Delta. Now this next week, the prize is going to be a $150 gift certificate to the Bass Hole Tackle Shop, and I want to thank Rob. I called Rob, said, "Hey Rob, I'm going to be doing these giveaway drawings. 15,000 subscribers, big deal to me, blah, blah, blah. I need a $100 gift certificate." He says, make that a $150 gift certificate. So Rob threw in 50 bucks. So thanks a lot, Rob. And not only for just the $50 that you're kicking in here, but I want to thank you for supporting In Deep on the Delta, and I want to thank you for supporting the entire fishing community here on the Delta. If you get a chance, if you have not been into the Bass Hole Tackle Shop, you got to get in there. It may not be the biggest shop that you've ever been in, but they have got more stuff in there, and they've got the stuff that you want and the stuff that you need. And it is so important to support local tackle shops. If you're out around Bethel Island, get into the Bass Hole Tackle Shop. We've got a new shop here right at Paradise Point. Dave is putting together his shop. He's getting, and I think he's calling it the Bass Hideouts right out here at Paradise Point. He's getting new stuff all the time. If you're in Stockton, we also have Outdoor Sportsman. Down in Modesto, we've got Central Valley Bait and Tackle. Aaron's doing a good job stocking that with some high-end gear. We got CNC down there in Modesto that's starting to get into the bait game. We've got Fisherman's Warehouse in several locations, Sacramento, support the local guys. We've got to keep these guys in business. It's not an easy game to play if you're trying to run a tackle shop. So support your local guys. Go in there, talk to them. Oh, don't forget, you get up to Clearlake, go to Clearlake Outdoors. Dave and the gang up there, Nino, great guys. They've got a great shop. Support the local guys. With that, let's get right into the Clearlake report. And once again, an honest, talk to Dave, the owner of Clearlake Outdoors, an honest report. It's been inconsistent. The weather's been inconsistent. The fishing has been inconsistent. Before they had the weather patterns and the Memorial Day weekend, it was T-rigs, jigs, frogs, and the one bait that has been pretty darn consistent, and a new bait that if you're not fishing, you should check, are these sea urchin type baits. Dave said they're not only catching fish, but they're catching big fish. So if you're not fishing them, even if you're going up to Melonies, you're fishing, or excuse me, Clearlake, you're fishing the Delta, you need some of these sea urchin baits. I said Melonies because I was up at Melonies Tuesday with John Liechty, and from Experience Fishing Guide Service, and John's teaching me how to fish these sea urchins, and boy, I'll tell you, a couple weeks ago I was out with Garrett Dixon from G-Rat Baits. He's going to have these sea urchin, his brand of sea urchin. We fished some of those on the Delta. They worked on the Delta. They've worked at New Melonies. Dave is saying they're tearing them up at Clearlake. If you're not fishing them, you better start fishing them. So with that, that's the lake. That's the report from Clearlake Outdoors. I'll get their number up there, and I would suggest if you're going to take a day off work or you're coming from out of the area, give them a call and just ask how the fishing is. They'll be real honest with you, and they may tell you this isn't the day to come up. You might want to wait a week or so, and they'll give you honest information. So when you do make that trip and up there and you take a day off work, you're going to go up and you're going to have your best chance to catch some fish. So with that, I told you I was up fishing with John Liechty up at Melonies, and John was kind enough to take a little bit of time out of our day and give his 2 cents on what's happening on Melonies and some of the mother lode lakes. So let's turn it over to John. John will give you guys a quick kind of mother lode report, Melonies Lake report, and then we'll get into maybe a little Don Pedro, and then we'll make it into the Delta. So John, take it away. All right, a little something different. My special guest today is John Liechty from Experience Fishing Guide Service. And if you notice, we're not on the California Delta. There's no Tules in the background.
No Tules today.
We're up at New Melonies. And John, why don't you give us a little rundown on what's going on New Melonies? I know you've got a little bit of information on Comanche. I know you're always in contact with Don Pedro and some of the other places. So just give us a rundown on what's going on in the mother lode, what everything's looking like, what people can expect to find if they come up here and spend a day or two on the water.
Yeah, I always keep my ear open about, the bite on other lakes and occasionally fish some other water, but I'm primarily a Melonies guide and banded for this lake, so this boat pretty much stays here. We've had kind of a lot of shifts in weather, from being hot to being cooler, like today now we have some cloud cover and it's kind of chilly, so we're definitely in a transition period. The water temperatures are up above that 65-degree mark, which is good for, top water and getting some fish coming up to the surface. We had fun this morning for sure. Yeah, we've been definitely getting enough bites. It hasn't been, wide open top water, but, we're getting some fun bites and they're eating it and blowing up on the surface, and you can't really complain about that.
Yeah, so you said that you've heard a few big fish, or at least one big, maybe double digit, come out of Comanche. They just opened that recently.
Yeah, there's just rumors, the fishing's pretty good. They just started, tagging boats again, and that's a fun lake to fish too. It definitely has big spots, big largemouth.
Yeah, so if you guys like Comanche, you can get banded, and obviously if you're going to fish Comanche, you're fishing Comanche. If you're fishing Melonies, you're fishing Melonies. Have you heard much about what's going on in Don Pedro?
Yeah, the thing about Don Pedro, Melonies, and McClure is they all really kind of do the same thing at the same time. If you're on a fluke bite on one lake, it kind of translates over to the other two lakes. So I mean, you could go out to Pedro right now and fish the same stuff we were fishing on Melonies, and it's going to be pretty much a similar bite.
So if you come up here, I know we had an oddball day today, and we were swinging for the fences with big baits and trying to catch a big fish. It had a couple of bites, got a couple of nice fish, but that trophy fish didn't happen today.
Not yet.
Not yet. So if they come up here, if they want to catch a lot of fish, what are the, say, 2 or 3 baits they should be throwing?
Right now, you know, I think just finding the areas that the fish are holding is kind of the most important thing. So you're going to want to fish some kind of search bait at first. I wouldn't start off with something on the bottom. I wouldn't start off with something slow. I would recommend using either a spinner bait or a fluke or a little crankbait, something that you can kind of go through an area to determine if the fish are there.
Mm-hmm. And then top water, you know, obviously you can't fish first light, you can't fish in the evening, but the friends that I've been talking to that have been up here say the top water bite's been going pretty much throughout the day, on and off.
Yeah, you can get them right during the middle of the day. Sometimes the hotter days are even better, where, you know, you're fishing in 95 degrees and it's 1 o'clock and they're, you know, eating things right on the surface.
Yeah. So if you guys want to get banded to come up here, you're going to catch a lot of spots, you're going to get good numbers, you're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be surface activity throughout the day. If you want to call John, give them your number, John, if they want to call you to have a guided trip up here. Maybe they don't want to get their boat banded, they want to come up and see what's going on.
Yeah, I'd love to have you. It's 209-743-9932.
And I'll put that up, and John's listed in the remarks every week from the report. So, you know, John, as we're talking here, this wind is coming up. Maybe we should start head hunting.
This is the kind of conditions we're looking for.
All right, let's do it. Thanks a lot. We'll get back to the report, and John and I will get back to fishing.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. All right, I want to thank John for once again, like I say, taking the time out of our busy fishing day and give you a report. John and I did another video that will be out in a week or two, and that video has to do with making the transition from post-spawn into the summer bite, and he primarily focused on lake fishing. So you guys that are watching in deep on the Delta that may get up to a lake now and then or occasionally, it'll be good information on how to make that transition a little easier, so you don't just, you know, you catch fish like crazy during the spawn, all of a sudden it drops off. He talks about how he follows the fish and the baits that he uses and changes to, and how he runs around and keeps on those fish through the transition. So once again, John, thanks a lot for taking the time to do that. With that, let's skip right over to Don Pedro. Aaron from Central Valley Bait and Tackle gave me a report, and his report is the topwater fishing has been actually good up there. The last couple weeks he's been fishing in some of the 5-mile-an-hour areas to get out of the traffic. This week he was staying on the main body of the lake. He's throwing walking baits, and he's just, you know, he's just moving quick, throwing baits, fast-moving walking baits. If you want to throw reaction baits, you can actually catch fish on reaction baits. But you know, when you can catch fish consistently throughout the day on topwaters, you might as well throw topwaters. So that's Aaron's report for Don Pedro. And after, it's kind of in a reset because I'm sure they got beat up for the Memorial Day 3-day weekend, but it's still fishing good, and I'll get a better report from Aaron. Maybe there's some more things that are going to start happening. The big bait bite up there, some of the big fish start coming out as the water temperature warms up. Aaron also gave me a bonus report for out at Liechty. He got off of Don Pedro, which is his home lake, came out to the Delta, fished Liechty. Stripers were slow. They got a couple fish that were just keeper size, smaller fish. But they got into some largemouth. It was a chatterbait bite, had a lot of fun. And Liechty, you know, it's not red hot for stripers right now, but you can go up there. If you put one foot in front of the other, you're going to get some pretty good numbers of, you know, those 2 to 3.5 pound fish. So I want to thank Aaron for that report. Let's move right into the Delta, and I'm going to combine the largemouth and the stripers in the same report. There was one tournament that I know about. It was the NorCal Bass Tournament. Hey, guess who won that? Lorenzo Rossetti. Have you heard that name before? 28 pounds. I don't know what Lorenzo's doing. I don't think he's doing anything different. Talked to a few guys that had some ideas. We all think he's probably punching and throwing chatterbaits. Maybe he's throwing a few worms, but he's just doing it better than everybody else. He's dialed in. So congratulations to Lorenzo, 28 pounds. Second place was 19 pounds. That's a big drop. But the high point is that NorCal Bass Tournament had a lot of bags in that 15 to 18 pound class. Now, if you figure that out, that's that solid 3 pound, 3.5 pound fish that we were talking about in the intro that is just a fun fish to catch. Now, you catch 5 of those, you got 15, 16, 17 pounds. It's not going to win you a whole lot of tournaments, but remember, if you're a tournament guy, it's that 1 7-pound kicker, or maybe you get a couple of kickers. That puts you in 22, 23 pounds. You're not going to beat Lorenzo, but you're going to cash a lot of checks and you're going to win a lot of tournaments just by putting a lot of those 3.5 pounders in the box and getting lucky and putting a kicker fish in now and then. So that was the NorCal Bass Tournament. Oh, by the way, I mentioned, I want to get back to Don Pedro for just a minute. We talked about how the fishing was going on up there. Don't forget the Modesto Ambassadors are having their night team classic June 6th. That's coming up this week. So if you want to get up there and fish that tournament, make sure you're getting up there and getting a hold of the ambassadors. They'll let you know how to get into the tournament. I got their flyer up there, and you can get into that tournament. All right, sorry about that. We're back to the California Delta. So we had the NorCal Bass Tournament. I talked to Joey Price. Joey has been out there quite a bit. He's doing multi-species trips while they're working, and they are working for him. He's fishing the West Delta for stripers. There's a good class of fish. A lot of those fish that he has been getting are nice schoolie type fish, and every now and then he's picking up a fish in that 10, 12 pound class, fishing a half a day for stripers. Then when the tide turns, when everything's right, they'll start fishing for largemouth bass. He's also doing well with the largemouth bass. So if you're looking for a multi-species trip, give Joey a call at Priceless Fishing. I'll put his number up there. I know Christian has been out, he's been catching fish. I haven't talked to Christian in the last few days, but if you're looking to go out and do some head hunting, you want to call Christian Ostrander. I'll put his number up there, and Christian will be happy to take you out. And remember, if you're going out with Christian, you want him to put you on big fish, he will put you on to big fish. That doesn't mean you're always going to catch them. It's much more difficult to go out there and target that 1, 7, 8, 9 pounder. But if you're looking for big fish, give Christian a call and he will put you on to some big fish. I got his number up there also. So what have I been doing? Well, I found that the fishing and coming into the Memorial Day weekend was really increasing, especially the morning bite and the evening bite. I'd had back-to-back trips where we brought boating maybe 20 fish, maybe 25 fish. The big fish were absent from all that action, but we were getting a lot of those nice fish in the 2.5 to, I'll say, 3 pound class, and just a blast. Mostly walking baits, and I highly recommend right now throwing walking baits if you're going to walking baits or whopper ploppers, something that's moving fast, but especially walking baits, because they're also picking up stripers. And I've been picking up a couple of stripers while I'm fishing for the largemouth bass, and they're, I'll pick up an occasional 16, 18-inch fish, and then the other size of fish are in that 21, 22 inch class. Not big fish, but a lot of fun. And if you're looking to bring home a fish, 20, 21, 22 inch fish with a little bit of girth, that's a good fish to bring home and have have a meal with. So the topwater fishing in the morning and the evening has been better and better. Joey Price, he's been doing a lot of his largemouth bass fishing punch. The punch bite is coming on, especially in the wind. You want to punch, you want to throw chatterbaits. Those are the two things that I would be doing. The frog bite is still fairly inconsistent out here. Topwater in open water, walking baits is doing well. What we're looking at this next week is a full moon that is dropping out, and usually that is not a good sign. I think it drops out today, Thursday, and usually the day or two after that it's been tough. So we have that not on our side, but we do have some very good tidal coefficients, so we're going to get some good tides. Tides are going to be moving. Maybe I'll put these fish in gear and catch some fish for the help you guys catch some fish for the weekend. So if you come out here, if the wind's blowing, you want to punch, you want to make sure you're throwing chatterbaits. Worms are still catching fish. If you can come out early or late, throw walking baits, and you're going to get some action. You're going to have a lot of fun in the morning and in the evening. So with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't commented, make sure you leave a comment so you get in the drawing for next week. And again, that's going to be the $150 gift certificate to the Bass Hole Tackle Shop. And once again, I want to thank all you guys for watching and just being there for me and supporting the channel. Get out there, have some fun, be safe. We'll see you guys on the river.